talk about some things that really affects us as women. And we have our celebration of our second anniversary. And this is an anniversary that we started. It has been a whole week affair. Today it's going to be our lunch. And it's going to be an exciting time for us to have a conversation about our lives, about our work-life balance, about our dreams and aspirations, and about careers. When I say WAUPSA, we say women building together. WAUPSA, women building together. We have lots to build. And I have to acknowledge our men who are present with us. They are always giving us their support, and we need them. So let's give an applause to the men here. We really appreciate you. So we are going to then move on to purpose of our gathering here. And we will call upon Dr. Patience Mba to help us decipher that. So Doctor, please let's give a round of applause to her.
Good morning once again, and you are all welcome to the second anniversary of Women Association of UPSA, WAUPSA. So if we say WAUPSA, then you respond as women building together. Thank you. So invited guests, deans, directors, HODs, senior members, special guests, staff, students, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you all to our second anniversary celebration. Thank you so much for making time to come. WAUPSA was formed in UPSA 2 years ago with a core mandate of helping each other as women, and then finding also a way to empower our female students through training and workshops, and then through mentorship. At the moment, there's a mentorship pilot going on. Some of you are aware, and I'm sure some of you are part of it. It's all part of our core mandate. And then we are also here to help students to identify some of their talents and the skills that they have. These are just a little among some of the things that we intend to do. So last year, we should have celebrated our first anniversary. But because of some challenges and interruptions that we had in our academic calendar, it couldn't come on. So we decided to shift it to this year and celebrate it in a very grand style. And we thank God so much that today it has happened. So thank you so much. The theme for this year's celebration is working together to promote organizational citizenship. We coined this from the overarching university slogan for the year. So as women in our own small way, we want to create an environment that promotes organizational citizenship. Organizational citizenship just means that, you know, we all as workers, we have our roles and responsibilities. We have our whatever we follow to do our work. But apart from this, we encourage students that it is not all about academics, and to the staff, it is not all about the work we do in our office, going strictly by your job description, no. But organizational citizenship means that apart from your normal responsibilities, there is something else that they want you to do. Some people don't want to do it. But as women, we also want to encourage our staff and students to move from their comfort zone and participate in some of these extracurricular activities. It is all in our own interest. So we are also concerned about the welfare of our members. So in view of this, we have carefully selected some speakers who are very well versed in some special areas to give us a talk. It is all part of our core mandate. So we want you all to sit down and enjoy this celebration. We are here to celebrate the 2nd anniversary of WAUPSA. Thank you very much for coming.
So the next on the schedule is we are going to have our own, the most elegant Professor Fidelis Kwanzaa, who also doubles up as the president of WAUPSA. We're going to bring her here to talk about welcome address. So she's going to give us a welcome address. Please let's have a warm applause for her.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. And don't pay attention to all that she said. Okay, so Madam Chair, our speakers, our invited guests, our deans and directors present here, our dear students, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the management of UPSA, it is my great pleasure to warmly welcome you all to this great university. I guess to some of you, this is the first time of entering UPSA, and I would ask that just enjoy the serene ambience of the beautiful campus that we have. But ladies and gentlemen, you would agree with me that women continue to play very vital roles in society today, despite the challenges such as discrimination, inequality, and stereotyping that they face. From biblical times, when a woman was created and given mandate to be the helpmate of man, till today, women continue to be homemakers, caregivers, and leaders in their respective organizations, and most cases combining in all the roles that I have mentioned. Globally, women are making a tremendous mark in leadership, catapulting them into the limelight. The recent investiture of Prof. Nana Abba Apia Amfu, the first female chancellor of the University of Ghana, Legon, comes to the back of 2 other female vice chancellors in Ghana's public universities, namely Professor Nana Jane Ajiman, the former vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, and Professor Rita Akosua-Dixon, current vice chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. UPSA is not left out of the list of female leaders. Even in university, in the university students' leadership this year marked the breaking of the glass ceiling in SRC leadership at KNUST when Yvonne Osei Adobia won the SRC election. Indeed, a feather in the cap of the future generations of women leaders, in Ghana. We hope that Ms. Osei's victory will open doors for the emergence of more young women leaders in Ghana. At this point, I would like on behalf of WAUPSA to acknowledge our own registrar, Dr. Koyo Enimwright, the university's first female registrar. As her tenure as the first female registrar comes to an end at UPSA, we pay glowing tribute to a woman who has demonstrated true leadership and has inspired many of us to aspire to leadership positions. And today I'll even have to mention the fact that she was the one who initiated this whole association that we have. We were actually expecting her to be here, but as you already know, she has very tight schedules. So she extends her warm greetings. So as a woman myself, it is refreshing to note that the feat of these women is an indication that women have the potential to lead if inspired, nurtured, and given the opportunity that they will arise to the occasion. We, the women at UPSA, hope that it wouldn't be long for us to also outdoor our first female vice chancellor to add to the Hall of Fame of female vice chancellors in Ghana. It is against this backdrop that forming a women's association at the University of Professional Studies is essential in responding to the rise of women in leadership. During the past 2 years, WAUPSA has organized the following programs as part of the flagship mentorship program, which aims at empowering both female staff and students to recognize their leadership potential and take up leadership roles. The university's theme for the year, Working Together to Promote Organizational Citizenship, tells our story that we work together as women, we build a workforce that will promote productivity in the university. Some of our achievements during the past 2 years include the following. First, the International Women's Day celebration. As part of the activities marking the International Women's Day celebration, WAUPSA, in collaboration with the Gender Office, organized a Zoom meeting with the catchphrase, "Breaking the Bias Today for a Successful Future." That was on 8th May 2022. IWD provides the platform to constantly remind our society about women's issues while encouraging them to continuously challenge the status quo and break the bias women face daily. The celebration also spotlights critical trending challenges women face across the world and the necessary steps needed to break all the barriers. To break the bias, women are encouraged to speak out to confront gender bias in the workplace when it is safe to do so. We also had a seminar on work-life balance. And work-life balance is the working arrangement that make sure that the employee balances between personal and work responsibilities. And I'm sure today you hear a lot more to be able to manage wherever you find yourself as women. But as women, poor work-life balance is a major risk that poses risk to the well-being of our career ambitions. In commemoration of Mother's Day this year, the Business Administration Department, in collaboration with WAUPSA, organized a seminar on work-life balance, and that was 3rd May 2023 at the LBC Auditorium. The facilitators, who were mainly WAUPSA members, shared their experiences and challenges as career women who are managing and combining work and family life. The facilitators indicated that work-life balance is a key part of a healthy and productive environment. They also educated the staff and students on how to balance this successfully by dedicating an equal amount of time to work-related tasks and personal matters without experiencing stress or becoming overwhelmed. And currently, we also have a mentorship program, and that is the UPSA has a mission to provide quality higher education and training in different disciplines. UPSA also believes as its credo that knowledge, a basis for development, is relevant when shared and used. To achieve this mission, WAUPSA has developed a mentorship program to help female students. This innovative program offers an exciting opportunity for a female student to become mentored by a senior member of staff. The aim of the Women's Association is to increase the pool of females who are contributing to the governance and leadership of the university, that is academic and administrative, and to have a rippling effect on the role women play in sustainable development of Mother Ghana. It also seeks to increase the pool of females who are contributing to the governance and leadership of the university and to have a rippling effect on the role women play in the sustainable development of Mother Ghana. At the moment, some female students have been assigned to their mentors and who are mainly senior members of the university. This program is in collaboration with the Gender Office, the Women's Commissioners, and the Office of the Dean of Students. We are excited to have diverse women in our midst today. Women who have climbed the corporate ladder, women who are at the peak of their careers, those who need encouragement to rise to their fields of endeavor, women from other university unions, the female students who need mentorship and direction to unearth their leadership potentials. In the coming years, we hope to intensify our mentorship drive so that every student can be mentored. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of management of this noble university, I wish to welcome you once again to the launch of our 2nd anniversary. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedules to honor this program. We hope that at the end of this program, the women here will feel free to interact and forge alliances with one another, especially our distinguished guests. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you once again.
Let's have another round of applause for our professor. Nice. So, Prof said something, and it kept me thinking whilst I was sitting here, that women were created to support the men. So what came into my head was, there's this Akan saying that Oba Tutua Esi Obema Demos or something. Yeah, that, and that's Oba Tutua Obema Nebetua Mano, right? It's true. So it literally means that a woman can purchase a gun, but it's a man that will shoot it. But the world has changed a lot. Now we are coining our own phrase, and you hear it a lot of times, saying that what men can do, women can do better. I think when the men hear this, they become a little, but they don't say anything. Is it true that what they do, we can do better? Yeah. Or is it true that even when we buy a gun, it has to be shot by the men? So it's a debate that is going on. And it's going to go on for generations to come. WAUPSA, women building together. Women building together. We clean together. We do everything together. The cleaning part people don't want to hear, right? Now even in the military, you will see women at the forefront of very huge operations. So we see some of us sitting here. So we want to warmly welcome our military people, immigration, right? Immigration, and we have another one too. Yes, immigration and fire service. You are warmly welcome. Please let's give them a round of applause. So our fire service and our immigration, fire service and immigration, we really welcome you to our 2nd anniversary launch. Please feel at home. We are grateful that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. So we are now going to talk about our chairperson for this event. She's in the person of Professor Akafo. She has been with us for as long as you can think about. She was the dean for weekend school. Evening school, yes, evening school, I'm sorry about that. Evening school, and she's also was the past president for WAUPSA. So we really hold her in high esteem. We thank her for being here, and please come along and accept your chairmanship. We are grateful. Please let's have a hand.
Thank you very much, Madam. WAUPSA. Women building together. That is the strength of the women. Thank God for today, and I'm glad to be chairing today's program. We are 2 years old. When you give birth to a child and the child grows to 2 years, you all know the child is a handful. So WAUPSA, we are a handful over here, and want to thank our sister associations that are with us. Without wasting much time, I want to say that just relax. We have our plate full. We have something for everybody present. Something for everybody present. We're going to talk about our health, which is very critical. We're going to talk about career, especially our students. We need to know what to do in terms of career choices and work-life balance. We can never have enough of work-life balance, especially the women, because our hands are always full. And I believe that we will leave here with something for each one of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's relax and let's just get carried along. And I believe that at the end of the day, we'll have something to take home. Thank you so much.
Please give her a round of applause. We are so grateful to have her. WAUPSA.
Women building together.
Nice. So now we are going to be talking about real issues, real stuff, right? So we would start with a health talk. I'm sorry about that. Unfortunately, we would have to change back things, right? So let's start with a health talk. For the health talk, we have our own Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur to talk to us about our health and to ask questions related to it. So without much ado, since he is our own, he doesn't need much introduction, right? So he's the Acting Director, Medical Directorate. We will be welcoming Dr. Arthur to give us his summary. Thank you. Please let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Madam Chair, Madam President, WAUPSA.
Women building together.
Women building together with the men. You invite a man here, you are saying women building.
It's powerful, we accept.
Okay. And in the company of women, gentlemen first. Okay, so I want to quickly talk about the woman's health. I get involved in women's health because women are different. Women are different. And you guys have many things we don't have. You see, everything we have, you have, but you have it in multiple settings. It's bigger. I used to be very breast, now putting on some weight. And I saw my breast coming a bit. And I want to confuse the boys. But everything about women is bigger and better. When God created Adam, then he created Eve. So it's like iPhone 13 and iPhone 14. Right? So women have their own health-related problems. But what we say health, right? Health is four-dimensional: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Right? So the moment you hear health, usually what comes to mind is your physical well-being. So if you have a headache, you're vomiting, you're running a goose and bleeding there, it's just a measure of your physical well-being. Right? So the body structure and function. But health goes beyond that. We also have mental. Your mental health is part of your health. And mental health has to do with how you think, feel, and behave. Right? So any thinking or feelings or behavior that is affecting your life negatively, it is mental health. And usually when you mention mental health, people's mindset goes to someone like on the streets. But it goes beyond that. So if you're here, you have a thinking of feelings or behavior that is affecting your life, it is mental, they are not true health. Right? Then social, we talk about relationships and work and stuff. Now social media has become a big thing. Life on social media alone is a major health risk. Right? And now research will tell you that majority of the people addicted to social media, they use social media to cope with depression. Right? So social media is also a big thing. And then spirituality. So spirituality is not outside your health. It is part of your health. It's not separate from your health. It is also a dimension of your health. So for someone to be functional as an adult, they should be healthy in all these four levels. So if you meet an adult who is not doing well with their lives, it is likely that one of these areas is affected. Right, so right from childhood, physically we grow. If you have good genes, you grow physically well. If your parents feed you well, you grow well. If you don't fall sick frequently, you grow well. If you adopt a healthy lifestyle, generally you get stuff like that. So the songs you're listening to, the books you're reading, they are all influencing your mental well-being as you grow older. Then again, to the things you observe. So in a very, very toxic home environment, you become what you see. So you meet someone who is dirty, they grew up in a dirty environment. You know, most of the washrooms, maybe you have a roommate. You know, every time you are talking, you flash after. You know, why do you even have to tell an adult to flash after using the place? Right? Because probably in their house, it is the scent that gives appetite. You understand? So whatever you are talking about, the person doesn't even see. Right? So whatever they're observing, so if kids observe good things, father loving the mother and stuff, there is no abuse, they grow well. Research will tell you that majority of abusers grew up, abused. You know, it is a learned behavior. You see. Then again, to experiences. Every single experience a child is going through is affecting their mental well-being. Every single experience. It starts from the womb. Whatever is happening to the mother is affecting the child. Then labor. If labor doesn't go well, baby come out, it's not crying. Permanent brain damage. The baby is alive, but the brain is damaged. Right? Then breastfeeding, whilst the mother carries the baby at the chest, that warmth, love, and communication with the child is helping the child grow emotionally well. So research will tell you that kids that are breastfed, they grow better emotionally than those who are not breastfed. So the crutch system is even destroying babies. Depositing your kids with grandparents is destroying them, because it is the parent who are supposed to raise that child, because that interaction with that child is what the child interprets and helps the child's emotional growth. Then kids who are not playing, another experience. Every child who is not playing is not growing well. So the educational system is destroying kids before they become older. We go to class age to 4. Coloring, and every time they come, draw an item in the house, and we know that item, we will draw it. I've drawn all the items in the house. Then another draw an item, I looked around, there's no item again to draw. Then I drew my shoe. Right? So a child goes to school from age to 4, no play, they come back. Right? And no play, weekends, extra classes, you are damaging your child. Because it's not just the IQ you must be developing. Their social intelligence, their emotional intelligence must be developed, and it's developed through play. So kids who are not playing, they are not growing well mentally. You may raise a professor who is not correct. You may raise a doctor who is not correct. A lawyer who is not correct, because mentally they didn't grow well. Comparing one child with another child damages a child. It's an experience that destroys a child. Then again, when you don't allow the child to become what they were born to become, but you force them to become what you want them to become, or what is socially acceptable. So parents leave their failures through their kids. So he failed as a doctor, so that child must become a doctor. Meanwhile, the child is an architect. So they grow up and they are messed up, because in them they don't find fulfillment. They have money but no fulfillment. Sometimes you go to the hospital and the doctor is even angry before you even showed up. He's not supposed to be there, but someone forced him to be there. And all these things damages a person's mental well-being. And all the experiences with relationships, with money and all that affects someone's mental growth. Then training. Right? The things that you train a child affects their mental well-being significantly. Okay. Please touch. Okay. So mental health issues, now the value is about 1.2 billion worldwide with diagnosed mental health problems. Majority of the people are not diagnosed. The women, you may find them with the depressive illnesses and anxiety-related problems, and the bipolar-related problems, and eating problems. Because usually women are very particular about their body image, so they actually use diet a lot. So they develop all kinds of, eating problems. The men, you see them with the madness-related problems and substance use, alcohol-related problems. But unfortunately, the women are catching up, because now you see a lot more women drinking alcohol, and more women using shisha and marijuana and stuff like that. So you may be here. Already you have bipolar problems, you have depressive problems, then you are adding weed. By the time you are ready to marry, your kids are destroyed. Right? So the women are drinking. Now you see a lot more women drinking, and they are young girls. I don't drink alcohol because your body doesn't need alcohol. And alcohol destroys from your throat to your anus, to your brain. Alcohol destroys everything. In medical school, when you go and there's a disease and you didn't learn, you didn't study, when you are thinking, it's not thinking, right? And they say, what is the cause? Mention alcohol, smoking, stress, obesity, you are right. Because those four, they cause everything. Then the lecturers will say, next, then you know you are in trouble. So if you're a lady here, you're drinking and smoking, know that you already have problems. When you add those things, you're destroying your health, right? So most of the mental health issues is stress with responsibilities and stuff. Don't marry a man who doesn't like working at home, right? Or if you have a man who doesn't like working at home, it becomes difficult. So you bath the kids, you wash, and I tell men, if you don't want to wash, buy a washing machine. And washing machine is simple, right? You open the top or the side, you put the clothes inside, you press the water, you just press enter, and then the thing will start washing. Is it difficult? But I say, men won't do it. You know, men don't go to the market. I go to the market. Madam, tomatoes, no tolo. So responsibilities at home and taking care of everything else is stress for women. Then again, anxiety issues. Women have a lot of anxiety issues about security, about dependency, and all kinds of things. And depression goes up. Postpartum depression. Pregnancy is a major door to all kinds of health problems, right? Then again, to identity problems. Women compare themselves with other women too much, and because of that, they are doing everything else to their body. And usually when you check their past, you realize that growing up, they didn't have the right encouragement and affirmation from parents. And now social media has made it worse. You know, people are doing all kinds of things to their body. They are pumping up and pumping down. It's messing up everything. Then you are changing, you are bleaching. You are bleaching. But you see, if you are dark, your true husband will like a dark lady. That will be his prayer topic. So whilst you are bleaching, he can't find you because he's praying about a dark girl. So when you pass, he can't even see because they can change your color. You know. Then again to eating problems. Then abuse. Abuse is so prominent, especially in even marital relationships where the man is even physically abusive or whatever. 1 out of 3 women are abused at some point. Only 40% will report, and even if they report, no justice. Right? And usually, abusive partners, they control, they manipulate and isolate you. So sometimes you wonder, why are you still there? The person has been isolated. Right? And again, there's something called abuse cycle, where usually the trigger starts, they abuse. Then when they abuse, they become guilty. They go into the honeymoon phase, where they come and apologize, they do everything nice, then you are trapped in that cycle. Right? And so while the person is wounding you, they are pouring water on it and they're actually giving you hampers and stuff like that. And it continues again. Right? Then anxiety with what will happen to me if I leave this marriage. Then even the fear of support and the children. Because of that, people stay in abusive relationship. Suicide is also very, very important in women. 3 times more, attempts in women. So women are attempting suicide 3 times more, but men die 4 times more. You know why? Anybody should guess. For 50 cities. This formula works all the time. I will say it myself. So, usually women use less effective means. Men are more rugged in their approach. Women use less effective. So by the time they are crying and in pain, we come and save them. Right? But majority of them have depression. And that is why you don't put someone who is attempting suicide into prison. Now we even know that the brain of a suicidal person is different from the one who is not suicidal. You scan them, you see a difference. Right? So all these things are happening even with women. Physical health issues, pregnancy, big door to problems. I believe maternity leave should be not less than 6 months. It's a whole thing. 2 months. You see, I'm in the company of women, so I have to say what you like. So that you like me. You come and see me for excuse and you see what I'll tell you. Right? But this is it. Some other people, they do it. Other places, they do it. They even give you 1 year. And maybe the next 6 months, they may not pay. But pregnancy is look at, they're carrying that big head for 9 months. Unfortunately, it comes out and looks like the father. Right? It's a whole door. The presence of the baby causes all kinds of changes in the body. So women can become hypertensive or diabetic just because of the pregnancy. And that is why, for some reason, even if later on your parents or your mother didn't take good care of you, still be appreciative, because in your most vulnerable state, she carried you for 9 months and didn't abandon you. It's not easy to carry that child for 9 months. And some people vomit for months and they have to come to lecture. When they are marking your work, how can they mark your work? And the appetites. Hi, when my wife was pregnant, plantain chips. So when I see plantain chips, I startle. I'm telling you, because of that, I don't buy plantain chips in town. I dare come home without plantain chips. Sometimes I get to the gate, plantain, they have to go back. So pregnancy and infertility, usually 1/3 of the problem when pregnancy is not coming is from the women, 1/3 is from the men, and sometimes 1/3 we don't know the cause. But unfortunately, the women will be pushed to the hospitals, they will do all kinds of lab. Meanwhile, the man hasn't come to the hospital, and you check and it's the man, because of societal problems. And that creates a lot of problems even for women. Some are molested and abused just because they are not becoming pregnant, right? Then, so the changes, the problems, pregnancy. How can you are the receptionist and you are pregnant? How can you smile when people come? You can't smile. Or you are even having menstrual cramps and you are writing exams. No, how can it work? How can it work? So sometimes I thank God I'm a man. Right? Then menopause. And hot flashes like my mom. One so far, shoes. I'm laughing at her. Menopause. You know, as you age, the quality of your eggs go down. And so we tell people that give birth as soon as possible after school. Don't delay too much. Your peak fertility is around 25 to 30. The moment you hit 30, coming down, it's difficult. So you can delay the masters and PhD a little and give birth, if giving birth is important, because pregnancy issues is just huge. But as you age, in Ghana, it's between about 38 to about 55 menopausal age. So some people as early as 38. The average is about 43. But the moment your egg starts, the quality of the egg starts going down, estrogen also goes down. Estrogen is what maintains your characteristics as a woman. So when it's not there, everything goes down. You have hot flashes, mood swings, depression, anxiety, and decreased sex drive and dryness down there and all kinds of things. So some women's own are even more than others, and they may need help, right? Breast cancer. Breast is full of fat and also some tissues, right? And you may see an abnormal growth. Not all breast masses are cancers, right? But breast cancer, the moment you notice something in your breast, you go to the hospital straight away, because when we catch it early, it's cured, right? The moment you delay and the cancer leaves your breast, part of it leaves your breast and goes to the other part of your body, we've lost you. The survival rate is about 16% if it starts spreading. But if we catch it early, survival rate is about 98%. And that is why no woman must die from breast cancer. And that is why every month, look at your breast, touch your breast and find out whether something else is going on in there. So you must be touching your own breast. You must be touching your own breast. There are some people sitting here, when I say touch your breast, they are wondering whether someone drinking your breast will not stop breast cancer. It's breastfeeding with a child, because when you are pregnant and you are breastfeeding, because the breast milk is coming and the baby is suckling, estrogen goes down and reduces your risk of breast cancer. Not the normal sucking of breast people have been talking around. You go and start somewhere and say, doctor says they should suck my breast. I haven't said anything, right? So tumor. So in Ghana, we diagnose about 4,000 women every year, and about 2,000 die from breast cancer. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. Globally, you have about 2 million people diagnosed every year, 600,000 deaths. It shouldn't happen. I know a relative who had breast cancer, diagnosed early. She's still alive after 5 years. Another sister who wasn't diagnosed early, she's dead. She's the younger sister. Nobody should die from breast cancer. The moment you see any change in your breast size, shape, whatever, you touch your breast, you see anything, just get to the hospital, and we're able to save you. Right, so if it advances a bit, it looks like an orange, the dimpling. We call peau d'orange, right? And you may see some source, and usually breast cancer is not painful. It's a painless mass, right? So an unexplained lump in your breast, sudden changes in your breast size and shape. Every woman must even know how their breast looks like, so that if there's a change, you will know. For breast, one looks a bit, different than the other. One is a little bigger. It's normal. When you see any change, get to the hospital. changes in your nipple and changing your breast color and whatever, nipple discharge. There should be no discharge from your breast if you are not breastfeeding. The moment you see that, you get to the hospital, right? So early detection saves life. Then cervix, your womb, and the opening to your womb, right, is the cervix. This is the cervix. The cervix around this area, right? And the cervix also can have some changes there. That is cancerous. And thankfully, breast cancer, you shouldn't die. Cervical cancer, too, you shouldn't die, because cervical cancer develops slowly over years. Nobody should die from breast cancer and cervical cancer. And usually, those who have sex very early in life and have multiple sexual partners, they have increased risk of cervical cancer because of this virus, HPV virus. For this virus, the more sexual partners you have, the more likely you are going to pick it from somewhere. So the more sexual partners you have, the more risk of cervical cancer. And usually people bleed, they have pain down there, and also they have this, discharge, which is abnormal. So when you're having any of these symptoms, you may have to get to the hospital for us to find out. 75% of cervical cancers can be prevented by cervical screening. 9 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer every day. Women lose their life, 2 women lose every day, right? And stuff like that. So nobody should die from cervical cancer. So this is your cervix. This is the vaginal area. Your cervix is this way. So you see, this is the normal one. You see the cancers are developing. This one is advanced. When you get there, it's difficult. There's nothing the doctors can do. Radiotherapy and stuff. Survival is low. Is it okay? But you can't look at your cervix. So you may have to get to the hospital every three years, if you're a woman, right, to be able to check, right, whether you have cervical cancer. And the doctors will look down there, take a sample, we do pap smear. And that's it. It's a simple procedure. So whilst you are attending to your academic needs, know that it's your health that will protect you to enjoy whatever benefits the academics will bring you. If you don't take care of your health, regardless of your titles, you will still struggle, right? So these things are important, right? So the impact is pain. If you're unwell, there is so much pain and distress. You can't cope. You become a financial burden to people. Relationships become a problem. Inability to pursue your goals, productivity goes down, crime and social vices will go up. Then again, to death and diseases, suicidal behaviors and addictions go up if you have these problems. So how do you maximize your health? And I'm going to end, right? Professional. If you're unwell, go to the hospital. Even if you don't understand, get to the hospital, at least seek a second opinion. And it should be a doctor. Don't pass through the pharmacy or go to a herbal clinic. Most of the herbal clinics are not trained well. They only practice by apprenticeship. I see, it takes them 7.5 years to finish medical school, just studying the body. For the brain people, it takes 9 more years. Right? So get to the hospital. I know my time is up. And we may give you medications or issue some therapies. Then we teach you things that you can do to cope well. Right? So some of the things you can do to cope well is these things. Let me end with that. First of all, positive mindset and attitude. Be positive. A friend leaves, another will come. You fall today, rise. You understand what I'm saying? Today, no be, tomorrow go be. You understand what I'm saying? Be positive. If you fail an exam and you are crying, you won't change your marks. Buy yogurt and sleep. It will still not change your marks. You understand? So when you cry small, relax small. Is it okay? Then healthy friendships. Any friend in your life who is a stressor, throw them away. When you die, 3 days we pretend we are crying. We come to drink coke at your funeral. We forget about you. Right? Then again, rest. 2 forms of rest, sleep and relaxation. Sleep is when you are knocked off 5 to 8 hours every night. And relaxation is when you go sit by the pool. Right? You order a glass of juice. They carve the lemon at the edge of the glass. And you wear your dark and you look up and thank God. That is relaxation. So once in a while, take yourself out. Is it okay? Right? Enjoy life a bit. And then again, exercise. The day you start exercising, you start feeling differently. Then good nutrition, balanced diet, fruits and veggies. Sometimes your evening meal should be just fruits and veggies. It helps. Then again, too, about nutrition, eat what your soul loves to eat. And what you feel like eating that day. It adds to wellness. Right? So if you feel like eating fufu, eat fufu. It helps. Like this morning, I felt like eating wachi. I ate wachi. And when you eat food, you feel like eating. It helps. Then again, to hobbies and humors and stuff like that. And engage in things that make you laugh when you go home. Don't carry work home. Is it okay? Say no and delegate. Some people are, especially some women, are like this. So they want things to be done their way all the time. So you're always stressed because you have to do it yourself the way you want. Learn to say no. Then practice virtues like thankfulness, be thankful all the time, contentment, forgive. Women don't forgive too easily. But you see, forgive quickly. Because when you are not forgiving the person is drinking Coke somewhere. You are struggling. Right? So forgive people quickly. Then appreciate your uniqueness. Instead of wanting to become a photocopy of someone else, be a better version of yourself. Right? Improve on you and be you. Because you need you to fulfill your own destiny. Right? Then finally, prayer and meditation helps. Set realistic expectations of life. Sometimes life happens, and the fact that you are not doing well does not mean you are not putting out your best. Sometimes it's just not the right time. That is why you are struggling. So set realistic goals. Sometimes even God is confused about prayers because He knows that that prayer will not be answered. So relax with life. Is it okay? And for married couples, sex helps. The married couples, sex helps. The married couples. Not those who are there. I'm saying the married couples, right? If you are sleeping around, you have problems. Then identify your risk and seek help. So my final word too is that of all the things in this world, take care of you. Sometimes women take care of everybody else, forgetting that they also need to be taken care of. Charlie, spend on you and live. Thank you very much.
Questions and answers. So if you have any questions for our very thoughtful speech and education today, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and I'll come and we can talk to our doctor for any questions you have.
Concerning the mental health aspect we spoke about, there's this statement that everybody has a mental problem. To what extent do you agree?
Emotionally abuse, usually they even use words and actions. So sometimes people feel less of themselves and the fact that they don't even deserve some kind of emotional support. So identity too. It can lead to depression because of all the unhappiness that happens around. Then again too, usually those who are emotionally abused, they would have to, their stresses go up because they would always have to do things to please the other person so that they can have some emotional validation from the other person. So identity problem, depression and stress, those things are very, very important. They may even go into some obsessive compulsive behaviors because they always have to make sure everything is right so that they don't go through that kind of abuse. Right. Then again too, we talked about the mental health. Probably not that everybody has, but generally at every point in time, your mental well-being may be affected by something. So for example, you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like coming to work. At that particular point, you don't have a mental illness, but your mental well-being has been affected. So all of us go through mental health related problems almost every day. You know, sometimes you come and your boss even screams and changes your mood for the whole day. So at that point, your mental well-being has been affected, but you don't have a mental illness. Then that is the difference. I hope I've answered you. Then again, when it comes to eating and in the evening, it's not really what you eat in the evening, but the time you eat before you sleep. That is where the problem is. So even if you eat fruits and you wait for about 2 hours before you sleep, it's okay. If you eat fufu and you wait for about 2 to 4 hours before you sleep, it's okay. So someone eats in the afternoon banku and after eating banku sleeps. It's as bad as someone who ate at 9 p.m. and slept immediately. Right? So it's really not the time of the day, but how many hours you wait when you eat. Because some people get home like 9 and they eat and they sleep like 1. That is 4 hours. It's even better than someone who ate at 6 and slept at 7. So usually a lot of food digests within 2 to 4 hours. The heavier the food and the more meaty the food, it means you need more time, 4 hours to about 6 hours. So it's really not whether it's evening or the day, but the time you wait after you eat. So thank you very much, WAUPSA, for the time. Grateful.
Okay, so let's go to the next juncture of the program, and we are going to be talking about work-life balance, right? And for this one, we have two distinguished speakers that are going to talk to us about it. The first would be in the person of Jane Ohiniwa Jeche. Madam, if I'm not pronouncing it well, please let me know. So Jane Ohiniwa Jeche is, so may I invite our distinguished guest, Mrs. Jane Jeche.
morning, everybody. Good morning. And I all that long list of accolades because I have a message for each one of you here. And I really hope that at the end of the 15 to 20 minutes, you would have taken something away. I have another set of 2 assistants from the University of Ghana, my 2 other daughters, Nana and Geraldina. Could you please give us a wave? They have lectures, but they paused to come and give me support. This morning, as I was coming here, by the way, I'm supposed to talk about work-life balance, but I love stories, so permit me. As I was coming here, I saw a billboard of someone who has passed, a lady, 66 years. And they had written, "A life well lived." I quickly did a calculation in my head and said, if I was this woman, how many more years do I have to live? Only 15. So there's something about knowing who you are, counting the time available to you, and making use of it. And that is the crux of our discussion today on work-life balance. As a human being, you are not just here to work. In fact, when we start growing as children, you are pushed very hard at school because you are told so that you can get a good job in future. Everything is about preparing you for a good job in future. And we tend to put less effort and importance on the other parts of life. But in the words of Shakespeare, the world is a stage like this stage I'm walking on. If this were a play, or in fact, it is a sort of play, because it's a play that started with our MC introducing everything. The WAUPSA president came and gave us a speech. Dr. Newman has delivered a brilliant speech. By the way, I'm privileged to meet you in person. And now it's my turn. Each of them came and left at a particular moment. So life is a stage. We are merely players. We have our exits, we have our entrances, and once we finish playing our parts, it's many different parts, but once we finish, we are out of here. We have our health to look at, which Dr. Newman has really helped us with, so I'm not going to go into that at all. We have our friends, we have time, we have family, we have career, we have work. All these make up the you that is sitting here. So when we talk about work-life balance, we're talking about things like relaxation, family, balance, fitness, soul, exercise, community, all these things. Now, knowing this is an academic environment, I did a little bit of research, and so I have a few definitions. So what is work-life balance? The Oxford Dictionary says that it is the division of your time and focus between family or leisure activities. Then we go to Cambridge. Cambridge is saying amount of time you spend doing your job compared with the amount of time you spend with your family. So you see that both definitions are referring to time as the constant. Am I speaking to academics?
Yes.
So time is the constant, and you are distributing yourself between all the elements we talked about in the beginning. Because I'm from the business world, I'll refer to the Forbes magazine. And it says limiting work to between 38 to 45 hours per week, which allows a focus on the 3 components critical to optimal knowledge work. your physical well-being, emotional well-being, and creativity. So actually, the Forbes magazine is saying, don't look at work-life balance in terms of 50% here, 50% there, but distributing it between these three elements: physical well-being, emotional well-being, and creativity, in a way that makes sense to you. So you see the lady with one high-heeled shoe and the other walking shoe. So you try and do your best to manage the two: your professional responsibilities, your personal responsibilities, and we already know that includes family, health, and all that. Some people like to look at it in circles. So far, what I've described gives us the idea of a spectrum. So you have work here, you have life there, and you're trying to go in between the two to find a balance. Now, some other people say it's actually like a Venn diagram where you have circles, and it's the intersections and where you are at in those intersections that show how well your life is balanced. Please, are we getting somewhere? Yeah. Good. Now, why do we say reality? Because I think we've established that work-life balance is about managing your time. You are here for a time. It could be 70 years, it could be 90 years, it could be 85 years, but you are here for a time. The reality of it is that there are all kinds of balance, and you need to know what balance is important, with what consequence it has, and where you should apply yourself at any moment in time. So let's talk of a few realities of balance. There's the overwork balance. I think a lot of us know that your work is weighing all the other parts of your life. Then there's the happy-go-lucky balance, where you do every other thing except work. This morning I watched a WhatsApp video. There's this guy in his boots working at a warehouse. He's hardly touching anything. But he's busy going around. Busybody, touching here, there, but he's not lifting any of the items that need to be lifted. A lot of us are like that. Reality 3, nothing makes sense. Everything is going in a circle. You can hardly know where your hands or your feet or your head are. You're just floating. You're overwhelmed. That is another reality. And I really identified with it when Dr. Newman talked about childbirth, working, and that reality of having 6 months maternity leave. By the way, I had the opportunity to work in an environment where for 2 of my children, I had 6 months maternity leave in Ghana. So it's possible. So the actual leave for the year was 4 months, and then you had 2 months that you could add, 2 months of maternity leave. So it's really worked out fine. So Arabna is one of the products of that, and I think it has helped her a lot. There are some times that you know that you are really on track. True or false? You know everything is going well. You wake up in the morning, you know exactly what you will do when you get to class or when you get to your office. You know that right after that, you're going to the gym. From there, you will do this and that, and everything is flowing fine. That is also a reality. So let's not think that it's unattainable. So like I said earlier, the true reality is that you don't stand in one place all the time. you keep moving. And it's important to know that without a conscious effort, you cannot move from one reality to the other. And please note, each stage of your life requires a different balance. So let's not think that that balance or ideal balance is when you do 50% time at work, 50% time at home. That is not it. So I'll tell you a story. Unfortunately, at age 17, I lost my mom. I had just finished my O-level. And my dad was working as a consultant with a development organization. And they had a consultant who couldn't speak Twi, but he was working with Twi project people. So he needed a translator. Now, because my dad was now the only breadwinner, and I was the firstborn of 7 children, whose mother, with her many businesses, had just passed, suddenly I had to join my father to become a co-breadwinner. So I started to work. I started to be a translator for that consultant. It was nice, by the way, because I was earning dollars. So each stage of your life will determine what is called balance. And it's important for you to recognize that consciously. If you take no action, nothing will happen now, seemingly, but in the near future, you'll see that every reality has a consequence. So you are free to choose, but you are not free to alter the consequences of your decisions. Do we get it? Yes. It's amazing, isn't it? So here we see this young girl sitting there, overworked, stress headaches, burnout, so unable to perform well, unfulfilling time away from work or school. You know, there are some people that are so workaholic or schoolaholic that during vacations, they are miserable because they don't know how to live with themselves. It is not a good balance. Then you have underwork, just enjoying all the way. Truth is, you cannot gather enough work experience and competence to advance your career. You heard that it was read about me that I have 20 years work experience. Because I've just told you the secret, I started working early. And in fact, for the 20 years, I haven't counted the ones I did from age 17. So it's important that when you have time, like many of you on this left side, it's as if we keep pushing towards this left side, but I see that there are a lot more students also in the middle and to the right. Now, when you have time, put your all or your maximum in developing your competence, your studies, to push yourself and give yourself a broad foundation for your future career. Because there will be a time when, after you have, for instance, you have given birth, you have 2 children. One is 2 years old, like the association is today. The other is new. The one you are breastfeeding is breastfeeding so hard, and I'm sure the women here will agree with me, that even when, excuse me to say, you want to go and pee, it is impossible. And you are stuck there with a baby, breastfeeding for hours, and you want to pee just for yourself, and you don't have the opportunity. Meanwhile, 2-year-old is also running up and down, pouring water on the carpet, putting your phone in the tea like one of them did. Nana did that. So because of the future, I think that's why there's a scripture. Pardon me when I bring up scriptures. I like the Bible a lot. There's a scripture that says, remember your Creator in the days of your youth. It's not just your Creator. Remember to do the good things whilst you still have the opportunity. Opportunity does not always remain. If you don't gather competence, your future is uncertain when it comes to finances. You will have long-term dissatisfaction because you will not be able to pinpoint to what you have been able to achieve as a person. And I can tell you that that is one of the things that gave middle-aged to people towards retirement a lot of stress. Doctor, is that not true? So they are 58. They can't pinpoint to anything, and in 2 years, they are retiring. Oh, stroke. Because they are panicking. So please, build yourselves up now. In Genesis 1, verse 28, and 2, verse 15, don't think I know I checked when I sat here. It says that human being is made to work. God did this whole earth, created it and handed it over and said, work it. So we are made to work. And my friend, wise King Solomon, he said, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. The wealth of the wise is their crown, but the folly of fools yields folly. So the stress is on the first part. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. As for overwhelmed, I don't need to explain what will happen to you. Burnout. I think many times when people speak about burnout, we think it's a foreign occurrence, but it is so real. In one of my jobs, I was head of HR. I've been head of HR almost everywhere I've gone. I don't know how come. So in one of my jobs, I was head of HR. I was so stressed in that job. It got to a point, I would sit, I had been given a Prado, an iPhone, an iPad. I had access to flying to America once a year, business class, just to go to the World Business Forum. Can you imagine? And yet, this is the job in which I experienced serious burnout, to the extent that I'll dress from home, get to the office, and I couldn't sit to do any work. I'll just jump into the car and be driving through town. And it was months and months and months. Long and short, I left that job, took a lower job in a bank. And today, see me. I've climbed up again. But you don't need to burn out first. So please, burnout is so, so real. And especially for us ladies, like Doctor said, I've had 3 biological children. I'm happy to wear the 7 children on my sleeve because it makes you look like a big woman. But many of them are adopted. I just thank God for the opportunity to be their parent when they have real parents. And so I think that it's a blessing. But women go through all kinds of biological changes that predispose us to burnout already. So there's no need to overwork. Those times I used to work and work and work, and my husband used to complain. He wouldn't see me. And I was working at Joy FM as their head of HR. Always walking around, traveling around, going to Kumasi, doing this. Sometimes you're just there, somebody has misbehaved up north. You have to go there, fly there, without notice. And I was just stressed out. But by God's grace, I left, and now, so consequences of fatigue, of burnout, sorry, you're always fatigued. It doesn't matter how long you sleep. You wake up but I won't go through all this because Doctor has touched on them. Now, there are habits which lead to work-life imbalance. Your habits determine you. What you do consistently, so like if you take your CV is just a summary of everything you've been doing daily. Please, do we understand? So your CV is just a summary of your habits at work. overdoing things. Sometimes you don't take breaks, or you are too idle and you don't attend work. So 2 extremes. Little or no vacations in the year, or too many days off. There are some people, I'm in HR. Oh, today they have this problem. They'll take the day off. Tomorrow they have that problem. They will ask for the day off. Then when it's time for promoting people, they rather will come and stand there and accuse you of not seeing how hard they work and how long they've been in the organization. Promotion does not come by longevity, nor does it come by too many days off work when you should be there. It's different if you have health challenges, genuine ones, and you cannot be there. But you have to make that conscious habit of balancing days at work or days at studies with vacations. And not too much fun, not too much work. More habits that lead to work-life imbalance. You're not spending fulfilling time with the family, or you're spending all your time as the family funeral contractor. The young ones, family party contractor. Always organizing the beach parties and the pool parties and the nightclub visits and the what, forgetting that that time that you have been given is ticking. It never stops. Some people are also too busy either learning or working, such that they have no investments whatsoever in their community or in social activities. They don't go to church. They don't go to the mosque. They live in a community. They don't even know their next door neighbor. They see people, they pass by them, they don't greet. They can't say, oh, hello, I live here. Okay, this, that. They don't try to make friends. Work, work, work. It all leads to imbalance. Again, the question is, what's the ideal balance? What's the ideal balance? If you're a young person with no family commitments, what would your ideal balance be? Obviously, you would focus on building things that will enable you to have knowledge, competence, and strength for the future. Simple. Early family building. 3 children and counting. You invest more time in family life. So I remember I had my first child at age 30. The doctor is gone, so I'm free. I had my first child at age 30. But at the time, I was working with a development organization, which meant that I had to be traveling a lot. 3 days of the week in Ho, Takrade, wherever. How was I going to manage it and still be competent in my work? I'll tell you the secrets as we go along, because I couldn't also have lost my daily bread. I was earning euros. There was no way I was going to say, oh, family time, so I want to stop work and take a year out. In Ghana here, we don't take a year out of work. By the time you come back, 1, they'll tell you there's no job. 2, your promotion will be under the carpet forever as a woman. So there are realities and challenges that affect our work-life balance. You understand? So I'll tell you how you do it. In your older years, like in your 50s, I don't have babies. I'm giving more to my professional network. That's why I'm in so many things. I'm giving more to my church. I'm giving more to my community. And by this time, I have gathered enough, as it were, resources, both material and immaterial, to be able to give back to society and family. Then in your elderly and twilight years, your personal health, your spiritual well-being, those are the 2 things that matter. Your most doting grandchildren will be busy at school for the most part of the week, and they can only visit you maybe 30 minutes, maximum an hour per weekend. So you will be left alone with yourself, your health. And in Ghana especially, you find that normally somebody will introduce themselves. You know, when she came to introduce me, she introduced me with, she's general manager, blah, blah, blah. I started laughing in my head because I said to myself, 9 years from now, how would I be introduced? God willing, 9 years from now, I'd have retired from TOB. Retired woman. What would she say? No more address. So I must build other addresses beyond my work address now. Otherwise, by the time I finish and come home with a nice car, huge money to come and enjoy pension, there will be nobody to enjoy it with, and I'll have nothing to really look up to because I haven't built any networks. So during all phases, this can never, ever, ever be overemphasized. Your life is like an egg. If you break it too quickly, you spill out all the beautiful contents, the egg yolk, that could have been a big hen in future that could produce more. So you have to protect it. So there are challenges that prevent us from balancing. I already told you some. You must keep the position, keep the money coming in, and yet your children need you. What do? So the first one is economic situation. That's the first challenge. Then number two, some of us don't know how to prioritize. We think we must do everything. Number three, our own personal motivation and ambition. Some people, it's just okay to be alive in the morning. There's no goal, there's no plan, there's nothing they are looking forward to in the future. But that could be a personality style, by the way, but that's not what we're talking about today. Your life goal, your dream, all those are challenges of a good work balance. Because if you want to be something big in future, it makes you push yourself, and sometimes you might over push and forget the other balances that you must have. Then we come to this one. You know, as women, we are so unique. I really never want to be a man. I am so happy I was made a woman. I am unique. I can combine so many things and not get confused like a man would do. I can see well into the future. You know that a lot of women, especially the married ones, you can see already that this is how it's going to end. The man will say, no, let's go this way. I'll not say anything. But that uniqueness as a woman brings us unique challenges. The first one is our monthly cycle. You think it doesn't worry us, eh? I remember that all through my school days in Ebri Girls. By the way, I'm a Bugis. And since you people are next door to Presec, we serve a great and living God. Our monthly cycle takes such a toll. So most times every month I was 2 days sick, not in class. Can you imagine the effect that has? 7 years. Even now, many times my first and my second days, they're so terrible, I just stay in my room. That is a unique challenge that a man will never experience. Unfortunately, all that time away from work, class, what have you, has an impact on how you are going to progress because everybody else is out there. Then childbirth and its demands on you as a parent. Then many times the responsibility for providing care for elderly or sick family falls on women. A child is sick, it's a woman who won't go to work. Rabna, should I share a story? So Arabna did WASI this year. After she wrote her first paper, she called and said, Mommy, I've done my first paper, French oral. It went well, by God's grace. 2 days later, she calls one hot afternoon. Mommy, please send money to pay for hospital bills. I'm in the hospital at Ebri town. Oh my God. Immediately I called the father, made a lot of noise. By 9 p.m. we were at Ebri picking her up. Long story short, throughout the WASI, I took leave and had to drive her every morning up the mountain to write her paper. Drop her there. When she finishes, I go back for her. Where is her father? Somebody will ask. He's there. He's there, but you see, I mean, I'm not putting a blame on men. But what I'm saying is that there are certain things which naturally fall to women more than to the man in the house. By God's grace, I'm blessed to have the husband I have, because he would have done it anyway if he had to. Except that between the two of us with our jobs, I have a more flexible job. But normally, it falls to the woman to do all those kind of things. You finish all of this, then the ladies, marital responsibilities. Your husband wants to come home to some fresh sexual partner. You went to work. You came back and cooked. When you were coming, there was so much traffic. You hardly ever got home, and then he got home. And what are we eating today? You've done all that. You've made preparations. You know, when your kids are small, you know that you tend to make preparations for the next morning, the night before. You are doing all that. Master is waiting for you. That's one side. You must be his companion to social events. Another one. And yes, sir, he will find a handbag and be traveling with. So you have to make yourself available. Then you have to be his personal friend. If he doesn't have you to deal with and talk with about life's issues, and he finds somebody else, what will happen to you? So you see that as women, there's such a demand on us. And it's like this woman who is trying to break down that brick wall. How do we do it? I'll run through quickly. Make use of new technology. Like Doc said, get a washing machine. You can't get an ironing machine. But you can go the next step and get help. By God's grace, I've had a husband who said, look, you're a professional woman. When I met you, you were professional. You are going to stay that way. So right from the start, I've had 2 paid house helps. Paid. So it's not somebody from the village who came and is trying to help. That person is paid. In fact, I used to be so bad at it that I had a file. And I'll keep your monthly pay. When I pay you, you sign. It was that professionally done. Without that, women, we cannot solve. Not every woman will be a professor or a doctor or something. There are women who are willing to do the housework. They will do it professionally. Many of these actually are people in between school. They finished SHS. They are waiting to gather money to go to the university. Those ones can help your children to do homework whilst you are busy at work. You understand? So let's open our minds wide and get help. And then delegate. It's not everything you can do. So maybe I should be shy about this, but it's a women's conference with a few young men who I want to take a cue. So I can't remember the last time I cooked. And very recently, my husband started complaining. Hey, you don't cook anymore. You don't do this anymore. I didn't say anything to him, but I spoke to my first daughter and said, Nana, this thing your father is saying, I don't even understand him. How many husbands have their wives typing for them at dawn? We wake up and he's just pacing up and down in the room, rattling something, some project work, paper at church or something. And I'm typing everything. I'll finish and put it in a presentation. Find pictures and put in. Find scriptures and elaborate. After that, how will I hurry up and go and make breakfast? How? And we have to be in church all at the same time. So something has to give. I used to worry about it. One day I said respectfully, oh, but you know I do other things that other husbands don't get. So now I even do like I haven't heard the comments. Gentlemen, open yourselves up. The world has changed. I am where I am today because my husband has been very open in pushing me to go to the max. And he gives me the support at home, organizing the children to clean up, organizing people to cook. We have a cook now. So you delegate and you get help. And prioritize. That day, she will cook. There's somebody to cook. But nobody can do the presentation in the speed and the quality that he wants to be able to go and deliver at 9 o'clock when we've woken up at 5. So I pick the presentation, do that one. And somebody should just do the tea and bread. Is that not it? Very simple. Very, very simple. So, you see, society puts a lot of us, a lot of things, expectations, and says a woman must cook. A good wife cooks. Does a good wife bring in income or not? So what will it take for the good wife to bring income? If it means she has to step back on the cooking. By the way, don't get me wrong. I can cook for 500 people. I cook a lot for our church. So when it comes to cooking, it's not like I don't know how to cook. But it is not the priority at this time to go and cook for 7 children who have different foods they want to eat. A Rabna wants to eat sandwich. Somebody wants to eat whatever. My husband wants his own. I can't. Meanwhile, the money must flow in. I'm a businesswoman. Learn to say a nice big no to some things. There are some people, they'll be at work, then on Sundays, they're in church, their husbands will not see them. Women's fellowship. Oh! Please, let's balance ourselves and say no to some things. Sometimes you must say no to a funeral and hide in your bed and sleep. It's very important. Otherwise, you realize that every weekend you're running around. And say yes to new relevant habits. So relevant habits like filling in your waiting times. Like this morning when we came here, we came quite early. We had to wait. I looked and my daughter was reading her book. When I was with Joy FM, that's one habit that my MD left with me, my CEO. You're always carrying a business magazine, Harvard Business Review, or you're reading something on your iPad. There's no idle time. Now that I've grown though, I know that there's something called white space. You give yourself a bit of time where you are not doing too much, to just think. So take time off to sit and think, write down. Write down. Luckily, by God's grace, we are all literate people. It's important to know what matters to you now. What will matter 10 years from now? My one headache right now is, when I retire 10 years from now, what will I be doing? How will I be earning enough to cover my expenses, especially because I want to drive a Mercedes, fresh, limited edition, the day I retire? If your current circumstances change, like you get a promotion, you change your job, your marriage breaks apart, or you get married, there's childbirth, there's ill health of a close family, you retire. Think about it. If any of these happen, what will you do? And start thinking. So for instance, I've lately been very concerned about, okay, because I'm a florist, I get orders to make wreaths and all kinds of flowers. I've been concerned about I've gone to the extent of having a tin, savings tin. So if I sell flowers for 150 and I get 50 of it, I want to put 10 cedis inside. So I pay my 5 cedis and then I put something small in the tin so that I can be saving towards the future. Because I realize that 10 years is very short. So you note down habits to keep, habits to acquire, and habits to change. And in which area? Look at your food. You are what you eat. Doctor has said that. Look at your well-being and health, your mental health, your financial, your professional development, your spiritual development. So I'm ending. And I end with a few balance tips. Balance is not something you find. You create it. That's by Jana Kinsford. I'm very careful to give the references because I'm in an academic environment. Maintaining a good work-life balance is a continuous process, not a one-time activity. I wrote this down first from experience, only to go and read a Harvard Business Review article and find that it was actually a title of a whole article. I've referenced it at the bottom so you can have access to it and read it. I love color, so permit me with all of these. Every phase of your life will demand a different balance, so always be aware of what matters most. Some priorities are non-negotiable. You see that this has run through doctors and is running through mine. All other things will fade away. Realities that remain: health, family, and you. No one on his deathbed ever said, I wish I had spent more time at work or at the office. No one. Steve Jobs, my Apple man, the guy who created the iPhone, upon all his achievements, he said, I've reached the peak of my success in the business world. In the eyes of others, my life has been the symbol of success. However, apart from the job, I have little joy. In the end, the wealth is just a fact to which I'm used to. At this time, lying on the hospital bed and remembering my whole life, I realized that all the awards and the wealth of which I was so proud have become insignificant in front of the imminent death. Remember, you are entering a stage, you are leaving the stage. So in the words of Michelle Obama, we need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list. Thank you very much.
So our next speaker is in the person of Teresa Barnes.
Deans and directors, colleagues and students. Today, when I was told to talk about work-life balance, I smiled because I've lived it. I lived it very young and I'm still living it. I keep asking myself, is this something that is possible when we talk about work-life balance? Is it possible? Can we achieve that? So I have a few Yes. So every day of our lives, especially as women, as students, we are juggling between meeting deadlines, going for lectures, meeting our family needs, satisfying society, providing for our homes. I ask myself, why do we work? Why are you working as a woman? Is it because you want to buy expensive shoes and bags? Why are we working? And the next thing is, if you are working, are you working Is it a job that you enjoy doing? Is this something you enjoy doing as a person? And is the job giving you high returns? Is the job offering you an opportunity to pursue other interests? We should ask ourselves these questions. And we should also accept and understand that when we talk about work-life balance, it varies from person to person. What is a balance for me might not be a balance for you. Some people enjoy overworking. For them, meeting their deadlines, especially when it comes to marketing, getting their goals, targets met and all that, is enough for them. Others also feel that, I need to pursue career goals, and that will give me that balance. But what do you say? What do you say? So this is our agenda for today. We're going to look at work-life balance, which we've been told a lot. We'll look at the importance, common challenges, strategies. It's the same as what our auntie just walked us through. And as we go on, I ask, what is your definition of work-life balance? What would you say is a work-life balance? And how will a balance between your work and your family life look like? So think about it. Where do you place the balance? How do you know which one matters? Which one desires much time? Which one do I allocate? So you keep wandering and moving around. As Auntie said, you go in circles. How will it feel like to have a work-life balance? So at the end of the day, we will understand some of these things. We have several definitions for what work-life balance is, and we are in the academic environment. Obviously, we will have to give you some definitions. So generally, is defined as an individual's ability to meet their work and family commitments, as well as other non-work responsibilities. Greenhouse defines it as a balance, as a satisfaction and good functioning at work and at home, with a minimum role conflict. So you're able to satisfy what is expected of you at work, and when you come home, you meet the demands of the house, and you don't have role conflict. But my question is, you wake up in the morning very early. If you are married, you get ready for work, you do other things for your husband. If you have kids, you have to now prepare the kids for school, prepare their lunchbox and everything, and then get them to school. You drop them at school, you go to work. Now you have so much on your desk. You have to meet some deadlines, attend some meetings. I feel proud when I see our mothers who have achieved a lot. I keep asking them, how did you get there? Most of my friends are older women. I don't have young friends. I like older women because I learn a lot from them. So I asked myself, how did they do it? How did you get there? Maybe you have to share your experience with us. How did you get there? We aspire to be like you. Now you get back home after work, you have to clean the house if you don't have a help. Then in the night, you have to fulfill your duty. It becomes challenging. Sometimes you don't even feel yourself. You become numb. You don't feel anything. You are just fulfilling a role, going through the motion. We are women. It's not easy. I've experienced it. You have experienced it. Okay, so these are some of the definitions we can look at later. Now, how important is work-life balance? This is the reason why it's important. All right? It's difficult to balance work and life. But if you do so, you have 25% absence of what? Turnover. People will be engaged in their jobs. It will reduce the health costs for you yourself and the organization. You wouldn't spend money running from one clinic to the other with cardiac issues, diabetes, migraine, etc. Again, even though we have this effort to maintain a balance, burnout, which has been discussed at length, is an issue. Imagine being a nurse and having 3 children and going to school. Burnout, I've experienced it. I was working in theater, and in my theater is orthopedics. We deal with image intensifiers, heavy instruments, metal drills, and the noise. Okay? And then you get back for one surgery, when we are carrying out a total knee replacement, it takes 3 to 4 hours. So imagine if you scrap for this case, 3 to 4 hours, you are standing with the doctor to complete the surgery. When you are done, you have to ensure the theater is set up. In a day, we have a list, sometimes 5, 6, 10. And the turnaround time, once one patient is out, the next one is coming in. And my surgeons get surprised when I'm advocating for more cases to be done. They keep asking me, now where are you, Embrea? Because I put myself in the patient's shoes. They fasted overnight, then they come and you tell them that, oh, because of time, take this patient back to the ward. No, not on my watch. So I tell them every morning that if you know that you can't finish 10 cases, don't bring 10 cases. They send their list in overnight. So a day before the list will come, you have to go to the ward and assess the patients, look at the individuals, the requirements before the day of surgery. It hasn't been an easy task. But you need to balance that life. You need to find a way. So burnout is an issue, and globally we are looking at work-life balance. It's a crisis situation. People are breaking down. Just last week, a nurse who had worked so hard at the surgical theater just passed. After a year retirement. This woman, I don't know, I keep saying she's an angel. She will attend to students as well as faculty. You call her name anywhere, surgical theater. Right after attaining the position as a deputy director of nursing services, she went on retirement a few months. She was coming around. I even promised her a dinner date at Fiesta Royale. So I told her, Auntie Maggie, give me a date. She said, no, I'll give you the date. The date never came. When I heard this, I wept. A lot of nurses are dying right after retirement. Either they die of cancer, and cancer everywhere, breast, cervical, because our work is stressful. And we spend the entire, you see, people don't see what nurses do, but I've been through it. Newman is my mate from biological science. I wanted to pursue medicine. He and I were in the same study discussion group. So since 2009, we met for the first time. I was so happy. He said, hey, Rabbi, when you're and we started talking and laughing. Seriously, you have to. You have a lot to do, and our work is hectic. You stand on your knees, on your feet, working, running around, but people don't even appreciate what we do because some of us, the bad nut has messed the entire system. But it's a very rewarding profession, but it has curses too. So how you treat people, it bounces back at you. So yes, our work is hectic. So imagine the stress we go through. Most of them retire, the next minute, they are gone. Sometimes, some of them in the service, they contract all kinds of diseases, and then they are gone. We are spending the entire time attending to our patients' needs, making sure they are well, but we neglect ourselves. And that's what we are all doing here. I'm sure we are running around meeting activities in the school, running around for lectures. We forget to even take breakfast. Why? We have a lot to do. So these are the reasons why it's important to focus on work-life balance. These are some of the challenges we have. There is so much demand on us in terms of the work that we do. Heavy workloads, especially if you are the kind that cannot say no. They push all the files on you. I'm a living example. My department, I'm the only one with my HOD. So obviously, I can't watch my HOD do all the teaching and marking and everything. Yet, I was a PhD student with 3 children, living far in Sawum, coming to work every day. Teaching undergraduates 4 courses, graduates 2 courses. Marking scripts, my students undergraduate over 180. DE, distance education, over 300 students. Teaching on weekends. So I'm just giving you the picture where I'm coming from. That's how it's been. And you're doing everything. You teach, you close, you pick your kids from school, you have to rush back home. If I don't leave campus around 5, then I'll get home by 9 p.m. You can imagine the Sawam road traffic. Then the next morning I have a 7 or 8:30 lecture. I have to be there. If I come on Monday, I end my lectures at 5:30 p.m. I go home. The next day I have master students class, 8:30. I have to be there. So how do I balance my work and my home? So these are some of the technology is an intrusion. Yes, technology is good for us. Sometimes it has its other side. Lack of flexible work arrangement, commuting. I said from Amasama to here. You can imagine the hours. The guilt and pressure to overwork. Stress and burnout, inadequate self-care, career aspirations. You want to get to the top. You want to be, I'm sure you are aspiring to be someone. So you are pushing yourself. And society is also pushing us. And our parents. Hey, our parents. The things they couldn't achieve, you should achieve it. Whether you like it or not, you should get there. I have nursing students who come to me. Madam, I never want to be a nurse. Level 200, level 300. Do you quit? What do you do? We had a medical student at a time who said for him, he's doing the medicine for the father. When he's done, he will pursue business administration. That is his dream. Our parents push us a lot. Family responsibility, economic pressure, financial consideration. That's why I asked whether we are working for the money and whether we are enjoying what we do. Is it the money? For my job, I think it's not the money. Do you know why? When I was in Kolebu, I was earning as a principal nursing officer. I feel good to tell you about my salary. I don't have a problem. I was earning 2,900 Ghana cedi as a principal nursing officer. That is the peak, because if you are a graduate nurse, you start as a nursing officer. In 3 years, you are promoted as what? Senior nursing officer. If you acquire additional degrees, you get principal nursing officer. That is at the top, don't you see? I should be riding in Prado or something. But you are here, 2009. Then I think single spine came in, and then it moved to 3,007 something. So after I pursued my MPhil, heavily pregnant. No steady leave, because I had taken the steady leave for a specialty, which is the perioperative nursing. So I don't need to go for another steady leave. Heavily pregnant, running from work, going for weekends duty, carrying myself around. How I finished the MPhil, only God knows. Right after, I went back to my ward to work as a nurse, because I know I just did the MPhil. So I love teaching. I love teaching. I teach students while I'm on the ward. I teach a lot. Even when I haven't been asked to teach, I do presentations to doctors even when they don't need it. So sometimes I look at the theater, I'll call the HOD, Dr. Kwatin, your surgeons, they don't scrub their hands well. When they come, they are walking around with theater cap, then they walk out of the theater. That is poor theater ethics. So I have a presentation or a morning meeting for them. Oh, see, hey, sir, okay. So he will organize it, and we'll have the morning, and I'll present, prepare my slides, everything. I do voluntary stuff for students. I don't need you to ask me. Just tell me, I'll come and do. I don't need your money. No, just tell me, I'll come. I love what I do. But the thing is, it puts stress on me as well. It puts stress on me. So all the social pressure, societal pressure, you want to impress somebody who doesn't even love you. You are killing yourself, working so hard. See, I was doing locums. Hey! Locums, I'll go here. Unless when you call me, there is a PPBAPO. You see, PPAPA, you're correct. Oh, KSB. I'm there. Because I'll get 500 Ghana cedi for my pockets. So PP, I don't joke with PP. Call me and I'm there. But we make all this money for what? You want to impress somebody. The person is not even looking at you. You're wasting your time. All right? So if you are struggling with work-life balance, I'm with you. We are in it together. You are not alone. We are all struggling. So first, assess your existing condition. All right? Ask yourself, how many hours do you sleep per night? In the PhD program, I get home at 9 p.m., I sleep. I wake up at 12 and I don't sleep again. I come to campus and teach. In the day, I'll be dozing. I have to seek somebody's hostel key, and when I'm sleepy, I go and lie down until I was allocated a graduate hostel. And when I had the hostel, I would sleep and then wake up pick the kids from school and go home. Are you happy with your physical fitness and energy levels? Are you, when you climb the stairs, do you pant? Can you run from here to the back? Can you? Ask yourself. You start, it's as if the whole world is coming to an end. If we are to run a race right now, trouble. So do you delegate? Do you find yourself unable to spend enough time with your family? Some will say, oh, me, I'm not married, I don't have a family. Okay, you don't have parents? How much time do you spend with your mother or father? You might think they are too old and I have a help for them, they are okay. You'll be in the office and they'll call you, your mother has collapsed. That time you will spend running to that hospital. If you had been with them, spend time, had a talk with them, you wouldn't hear such news. You might think I'm a student, but you need time with friends. Last year, one of our nursing students was going to commit suicide. So the hostel, one of them called us that the student has been having suicidal thoughts. He's isolated himself, doesn't come for lectures. We had to find him. Do you know the problem? I feel alone. But you have friends. I feel alone. My parents don't even check on me. And I'm doing a course. She had 5 referrals. So we asked, level 400, 5 referrals. And they said, school, when you because how would you write the referrals? You understand? And the bottom line is, I didn't want nursing, but my mother forced me because she wanted me to travel. So you are pursuing a program you don't like, and then now you feel alone. So we have issues. We don't have time. We don't have time for ourselves. We don't spend time for ourselves. Again, do you delegate work to others, or do you feel like you have to do everything on your own? Ebe, you are a manager, you are a lecturer, you are a professor, you are a branch whatever. Please, you can't do it all. But you see, people don't delegate for a reason. Fear of delegation. They are afraid of losing that power that they have. And they feel that when they delegate to you, you become the expert in the area, and then you come and throw your weight around. Then again, they don't even trust you, the one they are delegating to, because you haven't proven that you can do the job. So there are reasons why people don't delegate. I don't blame them so much, but women in particular, we find it hard to delegate. I had issues with my nurse manager because she was never delegating. Then one day, I kept talking to her constantly. She asked me to do something, I did it, and that was it. She comes and sits in the office. I was fresh from school. 219, degree for. So she will leave me alone, and I'll do it. She did a lot for me. She pushed me to pursue programs. So when you have, and it's all about relationships. See how you relate with people. See, the young ones, humility is everything. Humility is everything. Just humble yourself, learn from the elderly ones, learn from them. Take little steps, don't rush. Now we are rushing for all sorts of things. We want to get to the top. Do you know how long it took your boss to even buy a car? but we want to buy a car in one day. Is your work fun, satisfying, and rewarding? So I'm asking you this afternoon, the work that you do, ask me, the work, is it fun? For me, it's fun because I love what I'm doing. I like talking, I like teaching. What about you? Did you do it because you felt the money was good? Do you love what you do? Is it fun? So we should keep asking ourselves these questions. Now, how do we improve? How do we improve? I'm using improving work-life balance because already you are trying to achieve it. You are doing something. It may or may not be working, but you are doing something. So how do you make whatever you are doing better? It starts from the mind. It starts from the mind. Your beliefs, your thoughts, the ideologies that you have about life, situations, it has to change. It starts from, we are what we think. It has to change. That is when you can make that other step or change in your life. Set boundaries. So define work hours. When you are done, you are done. If your work is 8 to 5, you are done. Close your laptop and sleep. Lecturers can't do that, I tell you. When I was on the ward, when I close, I've closed. When I go home, it's me and the kids. They won't call me to come to theater to do anything. But when I came here, my first week, I was like, hey, we've closed from lectures, I go home, I still have to prepare lecture notes. Stay up late, be doing stuff. But the exciting part about this is that it helps you to develop. So I looked at it in that angle, but I realized it was stressful. Sometimes you have a lecture the next day, you have to do something, get ready. It's tedious. But on the ward, 8 to 2, I'm done. 8 to 2, I had this, so I could do the locums that I wanted. Learn to say no, delegate responsibility, embrace technology for efficiency, planning and time management, develop support network, both in the home and at work. Okay? Stress management, invest in self-care, be flexible, engage in stress management activities like what? Physical activity, go to the gym if you want, take a walk with your partner or whatever. Plan regular trips, leisure time, vacations. See, Ghanaians don't go on vacation. We don't go, see, I'll teach you something interesting. Sometimes, just come together as a group and plan a trip. Go to Safari Valley, go to explore. When I went around the regions for my data collection, I learned a lot. I went to Upper East region for the first time. I explored the region. Then I came to Bono East for the first time. I did 3 regions across Ghana. And I came to Accra. I didn't even know Shai Osudoku. I went there. I've been in Accra all my life. I didn't know Shai Osudoku. Can you imagine? Accra Metro, where I know is Kolegono, and the Makola, because I go and shop. Rollins Park, Asa. But there are places, Choco. You see, do you know Choco? You don't. See, explore, okay? Come, if you want to take vacations outside the country, do so, come together. Visa acquisition is not a problem. You can sit in your room and fill the visa. If you need it, call me. You just contact me after this. I'll help you fill UK visa and go for a trip. It's not difficult. Just be transparent. Give them the right information. If you don't give me, I'll come again. I don't give up. I'll keep applying till you give it to me. So unknowingly, you give me. Right. So my main, I highlighted these ones there, learn to say no and the time management, because that is the key thing that drains us. Most of us can't say no. Most of us can't manage our time well. But these are simple tools that we need. You plan, you allocate, you set goals, you delegate. You analyze how you spend your time, you monitor, you organize, and you set priorities.
This is going to be our last speaker, and it's also very great. It's going to be about careers, right? So we're going to have Mrs. Augustina Aikens Dadibo. She is going to talk to us about careers.
I'm here for us to look at career. So, fundamentals of career planning and development. And I know that a lot of us here have already chosen, or we are on the way to choose a permanent path, or we may change along the way. But I want us to discuss the fundamentals of it. And so what is career? It's any job of profession or profession that a person intends to do in his or her whole lifetime. And this requires training. You cannot just pick a career and just say, I am here. So our friends from immigration, they have gone through training. Some of us who are teaching have gone through training, our accountants and other people. So every career requires training. So what is career development? Hansen, this is a very old definition, but it is very useful. He says that career development is a continuous lifelong process of developmental experience that focuses on seeking, and I want us to underline these three words: seeking, obtaining, and processing information about self. First, occupational and educational alternatives, lifestyles, and role options. I will skip this because of our time. And so let us look at three core factors of career choice and success. So first of all, you need to know who you are. Self-concept. Who are you? Look deep into self-concept. Knowledge about different lines of work. Some of us are here reading some courses. You do not even know that after reading this course, I can branch into this, I can do that. A lot of us don't know. So today we want to explore and adequate analysis of the above two factors and how they relate. So self-concept. Who are you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your abilities? What are your beliefs? What are your values? If, for instance, you are a Muslim, and I know Muslims do not take alcohol, and you get a job to work in an alcohol manufacturing company, will your belief or your value allow you to do that? So you need to look at that. Socially, our friends have made mention of a lot of social interactions and all that. How well do you interact with people? Who are your friends? I went for a graduation ceremony, and this lady got about 7 awards, and she was carrying them like that, alone. She didn't even have a friend to carry one for her. So I was just looking at her, I'm like, wow. So where is this lady's friend? Yes, it is good to get all the degrees, get all first class. I am a counselor, so I believe in that. But make time to also build that social network. Sometimes you may have first class and you may not be able to get a job, but the one who had a third class, because this person has built a very good social capital. So, your values, what are your goals? Students, in the next 5 years, where do you want to be? You can set your goals, and we talk about SMART goals, or you can look at the short term, the middle term, and the long term. You come to school, you know that at the middle of the term, you will do your IAs. Do you plan for that? You know that at the end of the semester, you will do your end of semester exam. Do you set your goals? Sometimes students will just be there and they'll put everything, hey, the semester is ending, and they are caught up in the web. You need to set up your goals. So let's look at some of these components of self-concept. Your self-image. Some people do not like who they are. They think that I am too slim. Somebody says I am too fat. Somebody says I am too that. Believe in yourself. Like yourself. You are unique. The Bible says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So why don't you accept who you are? If your hair is thin, look for something to make it beautiful, and there you go. So accept who you are. Self-worth. Self-ideal. Ideal, in the final analysis, where do you want to be? How do you want to be seen? Madam was talking about when she goes on pension, she would want to drive in her Mercedes. Where do you want to be one day? So you need to look at that. So let's look at these factors that can affect self-concept. Early childhood experiences. Sometimes, those of you who are younger, I think you haven't suffered much like the older generation. Early childhood experience. Sometimes your parents, especially if they are illiterate, the way they will insult you, you feel you are not a human being. And these things affect the personality of people. So childhood experiences, you are never accepted. And so you feel you do not belong. And these are challenges. Your personality type. We cannot go deeper into this. So some people are extroverts, others are introverts, and the way they behave, the way they do things are different from how other people would do. You need to look at these things. And then the socio-cultural dynamics. Our friends have mentioned that some families will say, as for this family, we are lawyers, so you cannot deviate. This family, we want you to be a doctor. We don't want any artist here. Meanwhile, the person's personality, the person's ability will make him become an artist, a musician, or something. But because we look at prestige, this work is prestigious. And so, hey, no artist among us. And there is a problem. So all these are challenges. There is social support and feedback. Oh, you are doing well. Oh, I like the way you are brilliant. I like the way you are doing this. And we are so excited. So if you really want to get a social support, whom are you supporting? And I'm happy we are here as women. WAUPSA.
Women building together.
Hi, ladies at the back. WAUPSA. Oh, please, women building together. We are here supporting each other to be able to make it to wherever we want to make it to. So, self-concept and career. People mostly make career choices and decisions based on how they see themselves and their abilities. I've already mentioned this. A strong self-concept can therefore lead to more self-assured and well-informed choices. So if you know yourself, you know you cannot draw. Somebody says, architect is now very prestigious. People are making money. You cannot draw. Then you are saying that let me go there too because I want to make money. My friend, it will be bad for you. So when individuals choose career that align with their personal values, they are also more likely to find their work meaningful and satisfying. So I want us to look at trait factor briefly. This is a theory from Frank Parson. And Frank says that if your abilities, your career choices are made when you are able to look at your interest and your capabilities, you are likely to succeed. And that the higher the fit between personal traits and work factors, the higher an individual's productivity and career satisfaction. So if you love what you do, sometimes you may not even care your condition of service or your salary or something. Because you are so passionate about it, you progress, you are productive, and it brings that satisfaction. So the trait factor, like I was explaining, this is that if it matches your personality type, and then you have a compatible work environment, this leads to greater success and satisfaction. And I know that we all want to be satisfied in life. Sometimes it's not about the money, but the impact you make in people's lives. So you need to consider this. This is a summary of a theory by this man called John Holland. And John says that if we are looking at work, we should look at your personality type. So this is an acronym, REASEC. And R is doers. It stands for people who are doers. They like practical things and they like to work with tools. And their possible career path is there. We have the investigative, that we call the thinkers. They think deeply about things. And so they like to think about everything. They find solutions to problems, and they are very inquisitive. So we also have the artistic people, the creators, and these people rely on feelings and imaginations, and they display creativity and originality, and their possible career path also there. Then we have the social, that we call the helpers. So you can see the teachers there, the psychologists there. We enjoy making friends. We like to work with people and help them. They are very emotional and they like to satisfy others. And the enterprising people, where we have our business people, our leaders are there. They like to work for money. They like to influence people and be leaders. So the last one is the conventional people who are organizers. And John Holland says that they enjoy work that require calculation and want to be sure that everything is done well. They want everything to be done according to how it should be. Career counseling. In fact, let me use this opportunity to advertise the counseling unit in UPSA. Some of you, a lot of times we meet students and they do not even know there is a counseling unit. We have our counseling unit on the JJ Mate building, and I am in the hostel A, room 151. And Auntie Accra is also at the wellness unit in the clinic. Because of our time, I would want to skip what we do when students come or when people come for us to take them through career counseling or career guidance. So I want to briefly, once I bring my presentation to an end, I want to briefly talk about tips on scholarship applications. Since students are here, and I know after undergrad you would want to move on and do postgraduate programs. And so we have Comfort, and I know some of you are already on the Comfort scholarship. We have the MasterCard Foundation. You may not need this here now, but you can do that maybe for your postgraduate program. We have the GNPC scholarship, and some in UPSA, I know we have the Vice Chancellor's Endowment Fund. Now, what do you need? We have the Ghanaian German Center that is passionate about skills training. So some of you are very good, and especially now, with the unemployment rate, you can get a skill, especially we the ladies learn how to do beads. Ladies are learning how to do photography. I can see my lady over there. So add that to your degree, and if you are not getting employment, you have something that you can work with, and you will not go around borrowing or depend again on your parents. Your parents have taken care of you through uni, and because there is no job, you are done with school, and then you still, Mommy, I'm Mikoye, please, can I get 30 cedis to wash? Now, I'm so passionate about this because it's quite challenging now. But get a skill, get something to do. And women, by God's grace, we can do a lot of things. You can be a florist, you can do beads, you can do fascinators, you can do headbands. During vacation, I met this young lady in the hostel who makes, she does crochet, she does dresses, and she balances it with her academic work, and she's doing so well. So my young ladies, I want to encourage you to get some skill and then see how best you can use to complement whatever you are doing. Thank you so much. Because of the time, I want to encourage you to come to us. It is not the weak people who go for counseling, but if you go for counseling, then you are very strong. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, our distinguished speaker. You have talked to our youth too, and I think they have noted things down. And trust me, they will be coming to you soon. we need to now have questions and answers. If we have any questions for Mrs. Augustina, Daddy, will please, let's ask. Especially for the students about careers. If you raise your hand, our gentleman is going to get you to talk. I think people are tired. So what we're going to do now is to have a musical interlude, and then since we don't have any questions, let's have a musical interlude with our UPSA choir, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you. Coming to the end of our function today, and don't forget, it's WAUPSA's 2nd anniversary lunch. WAUPSA!
Women building together.
Yes. Women building together. We are going to hear our closing remarks from our chairperson, Professor Akofo. Prof, I wish I'm mentioning your name correct. Akofo.
WAUPSA. Indeed, it has been a wonderful time. Listening to all of these talks, I wish we never close, but surely we need to get to do some other things. We must balance life. So after this, other things must be done. I promised you that we're going to really have a good time, and we're going to receive so much to help us in our life. The first time we had a talk on work-life balance, the debate was, can we really balance life? And I think that what we have received today tells us that it is possible if we really take cue from all that we have received. And just a wrap up, kind of summarizing, from the health talk, we got to understand that the human is 4-dimensional, and the 4th dimension is physical, mental, social, and spiritual. And to be functional, we should be healthy in all 4 areas. And I think that throughout the other deliveries, we saw that every one of our speakers touched on these 4 dimensions, that all of them are important. When we look at our second speaker, Mrs. Jean Onyenewajeche, some of the takeaways says, you should know who you are, count the time available to you, and know what to do with it. Again, importantly, life is a stage, and we all enter and we exit. Now, between entering and exiting, it is important to balance our time on the stage. And also, we should the final thing I want to mention, I wrote a lot of things, but one thing I want to mention about hair delivery is the fact that we should acknowledge the realities. So we cannot keep pushing things under the carpet. There are realities in life, and when we acknowledge them, it helps us in balancing. Then our second speaker also gave us a lot of food for thought, and I was trying to capture some of the things on the slide, but the last one that she said about work is a rubber ball. You know what? I want that thing.
So it's a rubber ball. When you throw it, it bounces back to you. My family integrity health is like a glass. If you drop it.
Okay, in fact, that is very important. Work, you throw, it will come back. It's a ball. But family integrity And health, it's a glass. You drop, brah, a boo-boo, a pipe. You can't put it together again. So that is why it is important that we really must balance these things. And finally, especially for our students, the issue on career. Our time was so much gone. I know that there were so many things she wanted to talk to us about, but because of time. So students, I will encourage you from here, book an appointment with the counseling unit so you can get more on the issue of career, because at this stage of our life, we need it. So, our speakers have done so much. Yes, that is it. Work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. The other 4 balls, family, health, friends, integrity, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, it will be irrevocably scuffed, nicked, perhaps even shattered. We can't do much about it. If for nothing at all, let's take this home and use it to assess all that we have heard. Our speakers have done so much. They've given us so much take home. And I know that this is going to help us going forward. So, not going ahead of the one who is going to do the vote of thanks, I want to say thank you, our speakers. You've done so wonderfully.
Let's give a huge round of applause to our chairperson. Thank you. So we are coming to the end of our function, and we need to acknowledge 2 societies that are with us. This is the Immigration Service. They are here with us, and we also have the Fire Service. They are also here with us. So we would like to know if you want to give us a word or a brief phrase of just solidarity. Any solidarity message for us, our immigration or fire service. Just a word of solidarity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Madam Chair, President, speakers, my colleagues from the Sister Security Services, students, invited guests. I bring you greetings from the President of Immigration Ladies Association in the person of the Deputy Comptroller General, Legal and Research, Madam Baba Asari. Unfortunately, because of work schedules, she couldn't make it here, but at least we are here to represent the Ghana Immigration Service. When you had your first anniversary, we were here. We came to assist, and it all went well. We are very pleased to be here. We've equally had education. My other young colleagues are here, and I'm glad they are here, and I'm sure they are glad themselves to have this tutorial in good faith. And I hope that when we go to the office, they would also continue or spread the good news, as I do always. It has been good. We are all women, we learn. This is my 30th year with Ghana Immigration Service. And because of the passion that I have with the job, everything is going on well. We've had issues. I've had issues, as Doctor said. And we'll keep going. I wish you all well, and we are grateful to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We didn't have the opportunity to be here for the first anniversary, so we are here and we are saying congratulations to you on your second anniversary. And I want to stand on the ready protocols and then wish you this congratulatory message, and also bring you greetings from the President of the Ghana National Fire Service Ladies Association, FISLA, in the person of Edith Denyo, who is in charge of our health unit of the Ghana National Fire Service. We congratulate you so much for this. I want to say that we have learned a lot. And when we go, we impact. It has been very, very educative. We are very glad that we are here. Thank you very much.
Let's continue to put our hands together for these gentlemen and women who have served us so well. We thank you guys, and we really are, for me, when I see the military, I see fire service, I become speechless because it's selfless. Selfless. You have to be selfless to be able to join such a society. So we really very much are grateful to you, and we appreciate you. And thank you for your solidarity messages. We appreciate it. So let's go on. This is where we are going to have our closing prayers. And we will do closing before. Okay. All right, so for vote of thanks, we have our own Dr. Abna Nyakua Asumi to give us our vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. I know I'll be the last to get claps because everybody's hungry and tired. So we'll summarize it. I want to say a big thank you to you, to the FISLA. We are grateful. We all get very excited when we see in your uniforms. It was our dream. We didn't get to realize it. So thank you. Immigration Ladies Association, we thank you very much. Our chairperson, who is part of the founders, I want to say a big thank you. Every time I see her, she inspires a lot in the rest of us who are building our career. Our dean, thank you very much for a successful event. Speakers, thank you. Wish we could give you, I was telling the main organizer the next time we need just 2 people so that we can do a thorough job on this. To faculty, thank you very much. Our students, I know you're hungry. Thank you. Thank you to you all. Have a good day.